Hello everyone. Can you all hear me okay? Do the levels sound all good? You guys let me know. How are we today on this Sunday the 14th of March? Which is weird because the last one was February the 14th of March, so I was very confused when I was typing something. I was like, is it the 14th? It is the 14th. But how are we all? Hope we're doing well. You're having a good week. Hopefully we've got all the aspect ratios sorted this time. It was all a bit 720p last time, so let me know if it all sounds good, all looks good on everyone's end, and we'll get started with the live. Bear with me 2 seconds as well. I'm just sort of posting out on any sort of social media to let people know what we're doing. There we go. Right. I think everyone knows we're live anyway. Okay, so we'll kick it off anyway, and hopefully we'll have some more people join us as the live goes on. I'll be here for about the next hour, depending how long this takes. Biscuit and Blu-rays is here. Hello, how are you? You all good? It all sounds good. It all looks good. It all sounds good. It's 1080p. Let me know. I've played around a little bit more with the OBS. Hey Mel, how are you? You're good. Yeah, I think it's getting blonder and blonder. I don't know if it's the lighting, but it's gonna get blonder, I feel. But it's getting there, I think. I think with a little bit more like purple shampoo and that sort of thing, we might get with the end goal. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, it's Sarah's Popcorn Chat, but I sort of did like the before image of Rogue and my end result, and it's not really what I'm hoping for, but I think we'll get there. Whether I have to dye it a little bit more, which I might have to, but we'll see. But yeah, it's just something a bit different. I just thought I'll just dye the front. Never gone blonde before. I'm normally just a dark sort of brunette really, so I thought I would give it a little go. So let's start off with what I've watched in this last month. If you'd seen last week's YouTube video, you'd have known some of the titles that I've watched, but I'll run through what I've watched briefly in that month and also beginning of March, just to give you guys a little roundup. So I'm just referring to my film list over here. So I'm just going to run through it, and surprisingly I've watched quite a lot of films compared to what I normally would. So in February we had Dread, The Dig, Malcolm and Marie, 99 Homes, Lara Croft, The Princess Bride, How to Build a Girl, Tag, Spree, I Care a Lot, Hostel, Candyman. So that was February. So those were all mentioned in my last YouTube video. And then as for March, so far I've watched 2 Pixar short films, which is new. So that was Float and Wind, which you can watch on their YouTube channel. And then I watched Cruel Intentions. I thought it's been on my list for a while. I'll give it a go. I've also watched Rocks, which was amazing. That's on Netflix. 100% recommend that one. Upgrade, which may or may not be this evening's YouTube video. And Moxie, which I watched yesterday, and it just ruined me. Not necessarily for like all the bad reasons, like I just felt very inspired and stuff, especially with what's happened this week. So if you want to watch a good, inspiring, diverse film, I would recommend Moxie and Rocks, definitely. So that's the films that I've watched since we last did a live stream and sort of this month as well. So hopefully that gives you guys a bit of an up-to-date on what I've been watching really. Yeah, and then otherwise I've just been watching One Tree Hill. That's been my main TV series. And then we've watched Drag Race UK. And I got it wrong. I thought the final was last week. It is now next week. And then that will all be over. Yeah, and then Great British Bake Off started again. So looking forward to that. So we've already had 1 episode of that, and then that's on weekly. So that's just a little bit of fun. But yes, that sums up what I've been watching. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you've been watching. If you have any comments about what I'm going to talk about, drop them in the chat box and I'll answer them when it's sort of appropriate to. But we're going to get on to the main part of this live stream, and that's going to be just talking about some of the sort of film reference books that I've sort of collected over the years. I mainly started collecting a few books when I was at university, just to get like a better understanding. Ultimately, I didn't buy as many as I thought I might. I just ended up using a lot of reference books from the library, Google Books and stuff like that. You know, there's so many good resources out there. But this is just a collection of a few of the books that I've got. I do want to get a few more, you know, more sort of coffee table sort of, you know, you just flick through like some of the film artwork and, you know, concept ideas. I'd love to get more of them. But I'm just going to run through today some of the books that I've got, and hopefully you guys are interested in that. So before we never heard of Moxie, sounds great. Rox has been on my list. Yeah, they're both on Netflix, Mel, so check those out. I think you'll like them. Yeah, I think you'll get where my emotions have come from in both those films, really. Okay, so let's crack on with some of the books. The books are down here, so if I'm leaning down here, that's where they are. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is flipped for you guys or not. Maybe it's not actually. Okay, maybe it's not. But this is the television genre book. It's edited by Glenn Kreber, and I picked this up in like a sort of second-hand bookshop. Never paid full price for it. But this is a good sort of reference book if you just want a overall taster of sort of genre television. It's all black and white, but it covers the whole sort of basis of dramas, soaps, comedies, children's television, news, documentary. So it gives you real good sort of insight into TV, really. So if you're doing a course on this or anything like that, it's very sort of a good overview. It doesn't really go into too much detail about certain shows. I did find a Buffy one in there, Mel. I've lost it now. But there is a Buffy one in there. I saw it earlier. But it gives you a brief rundown of different types of TV. So that's a really good start, or maybe if you're in your first year of university, or you're just looking to have a better understanding of TV. It spans across, the last sort of 50, 60 years of TV. So I would recommend that one. And obviously you've got Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny on the front cover, so that caught my eye. But yeah, so that's just an easy sort of reference book if you're wanting a general overview on television. Oh gosh. So this one's probably the most sort of table coffee type of book that I own at the minute anyway, and that is the Sherlock Chronicles, made by the BBC. It was written by Stephen Tribe, and it's really good because it has a lot of sort of reference photos, any sort of behind the scenes pictures. So it runs from series 1 to series 3. Obviously it continued after series 3 with a few specials. But the pictures are really high quality, and it's a nice sort of gloss. I don't know if you guys can sort of tell the quality from that. But so that's hardback, this one. Yeah, so you could just come back to this book like again and again. It's really easy, and if you're a Sherlock fan, I think you would enjoy it. And they have different sort of extracts of the script, so you can sort of see how it went from script to screen, and how the actors and the directors sort of play it out. And there's even like this bit here with like deleted scenes. So it's a really good sort of book for any sort of Sherlock fan, but if you're interested in sort of behind the scenes of TV or any sort of production, really, it's quite a good insight. So yeah, so I always just pick this up every now and then and read. I've never read it like front to back, but it's a book that you can just pick up whenever you want to. So that's the Sherlock Chronicles, so I'd recommend that. So the next book we have is Screenwriting by Tim Grierson. Now this is one of the sort of earlier books that I got when I was sort of looking into university, so I probably had this when I was like 17, 18, and eventually the course that I did do, it did involve screenwriting. Whether I knew that when I got this, I'm not too sure. But what it does is it focuses on various directors and screenwriters, and it gives you a sort of an insight into their sort of overall work and what it's like to sort of break, again, sort of working from scripts. So you've got you've got extracts from scripts and the annotations, which I quite like. So for example, this is about Mark Bombach. So it gives you a title, that person's sort of description, and then any sort of films, and then the films are in bold, so everything's really nice and clear as to what they've worked on. And then there's a few pages on their work, be it like it's more like an interview structure, and they talk about some specific films. And I like this one. This one's on the Total Recall remake, and you can see these sort of the notes around the script, which is something that I don't think that Sherlock book has, but I think including those sort of details is something really different. So I really go back to this one quite a lot, and I think as time's gone on I've sort of known a lot more of these names, whereas initially when I read this book I had no idea who a lot of these filmmakers were. But as time's gone on, I've been able to sort of understand, like we've got John August here who works a lot with Tim Burton, so there's a lot of that in there. So yeah, I think this one's just like an all-round. If you're into screenwriting, obviously it is called screenwriting, but if you want an overview in storytelling, I think this is a great book. It's probably a bit more than like intermediate level. It doesn't tell you how to screenwrite, that's not the purpose of it at all, but it's just giving you an overview of certain filmmakers' work and sort of broadening your scope and sort of their approach with this sort of interview style. You'll get to understand a little bit more about how they take it from script to screen, or just write it to begin with. So if you're into screenwriting, definitely check this one out. I think I just got it on Amazon, I think. But yeah, so we've got Benjamin Button. That's the front cover. So nice cover, nice finish. It's all sort of a soft back, paperback, I don't know, but it's got sort of a fake insert thing. But yeah, I can't remember how much this was, but if you are interested, check it out. I know it's on Amazon. You're liking the sort of the notes? Yeah, the notes on the script I think are really different. Like I like seeing that sort of stuff, and if it's about a particular thing that you like film, TV, like the Sherlock one is obviously very specific, but that one's a little bit more broad with its sort of its material. But I like that sort of stuff because you can see it wasn't just everyone's going to stick to the script. It's like, what has the director made them change in that take, or you know, I like that sort of thing. On the same sort of tone as that, we have Cinematic Storytelling, and this is by Jennifer Van Sigel. I'm not too sure on this one, but again, this is one that I picked up on Amazon when I was sort of 17. Again, sort of looking around universities to get a better understanding. So when it came to interviews and people are throwing terminology at you, you're like, oh, okay, what's that? So what I like about this one, again, this is a paperback and it's a very weird shape, which is one of my main negatives, is because when you stack it on a shelf, it's going to stick out that way, or you have to stick it that way, but then you're exposing the pages and the spine's up here. So it doesn't make any sense to me personally. But when you look inside, it breaks down various types of shots, editing, composition, lighting, sound effects. So obviously it's not great reading a book about sound effects and editing necessarily, but for the framing and stuff like that, I think this is really interesting. I'll just give you guys an example. There we go. So this is talking about like the split screen technique, and so it gives you a bit of information here on the left hand side, and then it gives you the visual examples. So the reference in this one is Kill Bill. So I think it's a really good sort of bite-sized look into framing. Framing is probably the best thing about this. And again, all the pictures are black and white, which is a little bit annoying, especially when it talks about lighting. You're like, well, why are you showing me a black and white photo if you're talking about lighting? I don't know, it seems a little unusual to me. I mean, even if it's a black and white film they're talking about, then perfect, but they aren't necessarily. But yeah, I haven't picked this one up for a while, just because I'm quite used to it. I use this sort of terminology a lot. Like, for example, this is an editing one. So this is talking about match cuts, and it gives an example of 2001: Space Odyssey, and then it uses the frames on the right hand side. So even though it's talking about a video moving aspect, I think you can get a clear idea from the pictures. They don't necessarily have to move, but obviously this don't know when this is published, but this is before a lot of people started doing like video essays and stuff on YouTube, which I find really I find them really engaging. I really like video essays. But yeah, so this is, if you're looking into more of the sort of visual side of filmmaking or TV, looking to go behind the camera or editing or directing, I would suggest this book is a good place to start. Oh look, even on this bit on Goodfellas, they've got a little bit of the script there as well. So you would probably like that bit, Mel. So you can see the script in the bottom left corner. I'm sorry if you can hear a dog next door, that's the neighbour. The dog's not a neighbour, I mean the neighbour has a dog. There you go. Just gonna have a drink because all this talking just... I can hear the child next door. Okay. The next book that we have, I'm sorry if the dog's barking is loud, is 1001 Movies. This is a chunky boy. It's a chunky book. Again, these all aren't books that you're going to read back to back. You're not going to read from the front to the back in, a week or something. This is something you're just going to pick up as and when. It's quite hard to read. Like, if you want to just go like this page, like, you can't really sit there unless, like, it's one of those really annoying books that's just going to sort of flip back. You need to weight it down. So this book is just talking about the 1001 best films you must see before you die, and it was edited by Stephen J. Schneider and updated by Ian Hayden Smith, and I think it runs from sort of as soon as sort of cinema started, really. So yeah, I can see like the first thing is like 1903, and it runs up until 2014. So it's a little bit outdated now. There's been some great films that have come out since that time, but this one's in colour. This is a book that's in colour. So it normally gives a film a page or half a page depending on the title. So for example, we have Dracula 1931 here. So you get a whole description, whole overview. It gives you the language, producer, director, screenplay by, a little fact as well. It gives you a little fact in the corner, and this one's got a print. So this one takes up 2 pages. But then if we look for another example, should we go for something a little bit more modern? A bit more modern. How modern is modern? And what it doesn't shy away from is it includes a lot of international films. So it's not just American or English sort of spoken films. There's a lot of foreign films in here. Japanese, Korean. I don't think there's much Bollywood or anything in here. Okay, I'm just looking for nothing really. Yes, so some of the pages, they are split up like this. So you're going to get 3 different titles on one page. Because obviously if you had 1001 movies and you're doing a movie a page, that's going to be a thick book. I mean, this book itself is... Okay, I take it back. This page, this book is 960 pages, not 1001, but it's very, very close. And that's including a little bit of a preface and an index at the back. But what I annoyingly started to do when I got this book 6 years ago is I decided to start highlighting in it, and I regret that now. I do regret it. Because I'm just like, why am I writing in a book? But obviously this was a time when I was highlighting stuff for university, and I was in university, and I was just like, why have I done that? So for example, I just highlight the titles. So Titanic is highlighted there. Why have I done that? Why have I defaced a book? I know it's my book, but why have I done that? So I was a little bit annoyed with that. But generally I think I've really not seen a lot of the films in here. I need to see a lot more still. Like if I went back to this now and ticked off some of them, there's so many more I haven't seen. I mean, I think I've got on my watch list on my films, it's about 1,000 on Letterboxd almost, but it doesn't even touch the 1001 on here. So there's just so many films to watch, but yeah, there's some good ones in here, and there's some unusual ones that I've never heard of. But yeah, I think I'll be using this book a little bit more for some recommendations and working my way through it. And I think definitely in the sort of earlier sections of this, sort of in the 30s and before, I don't think I've seen any of these films. So I really need to start tidying up on my sort of general sort of film knowledge, especially sort of classic Hollywood. But yes, that's a big boy. So that's 1001 movies. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have had this. I feel like I've seen this a lot of people's shelves. I think I've seen it in various shops. So this is quite a common book, I would say, that a lot of people have. Oh, I've seen a few comments coming in. Cywiz, hey. My hair looks... Oh, thank you. I think it's getting more yellow. I know the light's right on it, but I think it's getting brighter as the day is going on. Which book do you think you have? Which one was it? Was it the 1001? Hey, Movie Worm. Thank you very much for stopping by. Cora's Corner. Is this the 1001 film? Yes, it is. It is. That's what I've just thrown on the floor. So yeah, it's got Birdman on the cover, which I love. So I was sort of sold by the cover. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people do have this film book. I think a lot of people have this reference book. So it seems like a lot of people in the chat already have it. So it just proves my theory was right. So if you just come in, we're just talking about a few books, reference books that I've got, whether they're film or TV, and just sort of going through some of them. But we've gone through the majority of them. I only have 2 left, and then I'll open the floor to any questions that people have. It's because you highlighted the title next to the big poster with the name also. Cool book though, and nothing wrong with notes. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I put a pink highlighter on my bloody book. Yeah. Oh, it's Films by Sully. Hello, how are you? I'll get back to your question, Films by Sully, because I did mention at the beginning, but I can run through that again, no problem. You've got a version of this, I think it's slightly older. Me and Cora's Corner are retro. Oh, I got ya. Hey, how you doing? I'm not even going to ask about the names, but thank you for being here. We've jumped onto YouTube. We've left Twitch for a day. But yes, I'm just going to run through a few more of the books that I have. So again, I think I knew at this point I was going into a course which had screenwriting involved, or I was interested in screenwriting. So this is a book that I had. I think I don't use this one a lot. Ooh. It's called Break into Screenwriting, and it's Teach Yourself. And I think they did a series of these books, what they called something, the Guide for Dummies, like that, but a little bit different. So this is by Ray Frensham, and I think, they do a different series of these. But yeah, I have highlighted this book. This is a paperback. It looks like a normal sort of novel, and you can see I've highlighted a few points in here. This is probably the book that I referred to least since going back to it. I mean, I've even started to write like a little index at the front. Key features of writing structure. There you go. I did take this to university with me. I took it to interviews, everything. But yeah, again, so this runs through genre. I think it talks through like beats, structure, characters, inciting incidents, craft of writing, portfolio. So it goes through the whole process. But I think I only got up to like those early stages within it. I mean, it looks like I've stopped here at the cast design. When you're doing your character biographies. I think this was sort of essential when doing those sort of modules. There's even graphs. So it's quite a technical book. And again, it's a bit annoying with it being paperback because it's going to just slam shut. Where I think a hardback could have been a favour for this, but this is just a cheap paperback version. But yeah, I've not gone back to it. I think it looks quite intimidating. Maybe that's why I didn't carry on with it further, and I never got to a stage where I needed to do copywriting and things like that. So I probably shied away from this book quite a bit. But it's another good insight to have. A general overview of screenwriting, whether you decide to be a screenwriter or you want to go into a different area of filmmaking, TV. It's good to have an understanding of what you're working with and the characterization and everyone's motives within it, and any sort of things you could pick up. Say if you're doing like set design and costume, understanding the characters is always really essential. I would find. So yes, that's that book. Break into Screenwriting, which I think should be Breaking into Screenwriting, but hey ho, I didn't write the book. Yes, I have Twitch. Hello. Everyone's chatting to each other, I love it. You love highlighting books. Oh, okay. Would you do it on like a paperback like that, like sort of the material of like a novel, or would you do it on like those glossier reference books, or is that just me being very unusual? Yes. I'll pop my Twitch in the chat towards the end if you want to check it out. Got one more book. I'm not sure if Mel, you might like this book if you're watching, if you're interested in this. I've still got a raggedy bookmark left in it. But this is Directing Actors. So I got this book during the second year of university when there was an opportunity to do a module for... there was a directing module, but I didn't do it because I was more interested in cinematography. There was a cinematography module, and the way it was lined up, you did either or. And I didn't know what I wanted to do as a role going into third year into my dissertation, because what our dissertation was, you made a short film and you got marked on that role. So I wasn't sure. I was like, I do like camera, I do like lighting and stuff like that. So I ended up just going for camera operator, sort of DOP sort of thing. But over that summer, I sort of gained an interest in directing. I was like, I've never given it a go. So I decided to pick up this book. Again, it was probably from Amazon. So it's by Judith Weston. I'm not sure if she's not a famous director because I've never heard of her personally. But it talks about various sort of... looks like I've written in this book as well, Sarah. Brilliant. I remember, even though I haven't read this for ages, I remember it being something about one of the key things. Acting is about reacting, and that's always sort of stuck with me. And I remember reading it in this book. And what I like about this book is, again, it's paperback, but it's like a softer, wider sort of layout. There's no pictures, no graphs. It is just text. As we go on further, we've got scripts as it goes into sort of script analysis. But I definitely want to jump back in this book. And we got told by a guest lecturer, he was a director, and he was like, in order to understand, if you want to go into directing, you need to understand what it's like to be in an actor's position. And I'm sure that is, vice versa. So he was like, yeah, I went along to like amateur acting classes purely because he wanted to understand what the actors were feeling and unlock those certain skills. So when he was communicating that to his actors about, a certain scene, he knew how they would interpret it or understand it. So yeah, I've not been to an acting class, but I might give it a go when this all opens. But so I didn't get very far into this book, but it definitely had an effect on me. So it talks about, it's probably terms some people might know in the chat. So result, direction and quick fixes, moment by moment, listening and talking. So again, I think that's about the reaction rather than acting itself. Resources and training. So talking about imagination, feelings, and script analysis. So that was where I just showed you a bit of the script and how you can break that down. And casting, rehearsal, shooting. So it gives you the whole sort of process, really. So this is something I would go back to, definitely, because I remember that the style of writing was easily accessible, and is a good starter for anyone interested to either go into directing, acting. I think this would work probably for stage as well, even though it says for film and television. I think you could get an overall understanding. Obviously, I know acting is different on both different platforms, but I think this could be an essential reading for anyone, really, on either side of the camera. So check it out. So that's all the books that I have that I wanted to just talk about. I just thought it'd be something a little bit different rather than me just rambling on or waiting for questions. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm just going to check through the chat because it seems like you guys have been bubbling away in the chat. Ludovici, hello. Which video game would you most like to make? Okay, right, we'll answer some questions in a moment. I'm a book highlighter as well. Loads of my word books have been scribbled to death. Used to love highlighting my acting books. Wouldn't highlight a novel or anything. Yeah, I would. I think I did it for school and I hated doing it. But the books that we bought for English were very cheap copies, so we just did it, no problem. I've not reread those books since. Top Cinema Moments, how are you? Welcome on in. You're not pursuing filming, but I'd love to know about screenplay and cinematography. Yeah, well, hopefully those books that I've listed, if you missed any of them, I will save this YouTube live on my chat, on my channel feed, so you can go back and watch them if you missed any of them, because I did talk about some specific screenwriting ones. I do need to get some more cinematography ones, definitely. That's something I need to hunt out. I need to find some. I'd be really intrigued. If Roger Deakins or someone like that did a sort of just a nice photo book, I would buy it. So if anyone finds that, let me know, please. Looks like a really intriguing text. Hey, Top Cinema Moments. See, look, everyone's chatting. That's what I love about this. Hey, Star Cinema, how are you? Oh, I will get back to that. Good direction is so important. Sometimes people give you lots of very intellectual information, but none of it's useful. Yeah, I think, from what I understand, I'm not gonna say, but from what I understand, it's very much about, just human emotion, just connection. And I think if I was in that position of directing someone, I would want to get to know my actors, really well, and just get to understand who they are as people and find that sort of emotion and own sort of personal story that they can connect to and bring that to a scene. But that would just be my approach. I don't know. I've not directed, so I can't say that. The boy with the Hallam tattoo. Hello. Didn't do film at uni, but I heard that Save the Cat is the Holy Bible. Is this true? I heard this book, get mentioned quite a lot at university, and I've never read it. I think my lecturer was like, don't bother with it, or they just took the, they took the Michael out of it. But I've never read it. I think some people have. Some people swear by it. I wouldn't touch it personally, but it's totally up to you. If you want to give it a go, if it's cheap, maybe check it out. But yeah, I don't know. I think it just became a bit of a sort of just title that people were throwing around. So yeah, I don't think it's probably the best one out there, but it's just a well-known title. So, are there any books you don't have but want? Yes. So I'm just gonna have a drink. Like I said, I think I said earlier, just some more sort of coffee table books, more sort of cinematography based ones if there are some, because that's sort of where my interest lies now. In terms of filmmaking, it's either cinematography or editing, and I don't think I'd want to read an editing book. I feel like that's something that would be visual. So any sort of, I think Wes Anderson, and they do books like for the Grand Budapest Hotel, don't they? Any of these sort of specific film focused, just A3 size books. So maybe something like that, but I need to look into it, see if Arrow or HMV has something like that, but I will look into it. So great question, thank you very much. This was really fun. Oh, thanks. Sid Field is the Holy Bible. Field. Just double check who Sid Field is. Sid Field Screenplays Foundation. Doesn't want to load. Perfect. Sid Field Screenplay, The Foundations of Screenwriting. I've not heard of this personally. I've not come across it. It's £10, so if you want to check it out. It's from 2005. So whether it has, screenwriting is something that's not really going to change, not necessarily going to be updated. So if it's the Bible, maybe it is the Bible. But I've not heard of it, whereas I've heard of Save the Cat. So whether that's better, I'm not too sure because I've not read either. Hi Musty, thank you for checking in. It's 4 AM in Australia. Oh my gosh, and you've joined it. Tell me you've just woken up just to watch this, yeah? For clarity, I'm reading Screenwriting by Sid Field and I think it's the best one. Okay, I know you're into your screenwriting, films by Sully. I know that's what you're interested in, so I will take your word for it. You're much more into screenwriting than I am. Yeah, 115 subscribers. I know. I'm so happy with that. We hit over 100 about a week ago, and now it's just going up and up. But I'm loving the community feel of YouTube and Instagram. Like, it's such a good platform at the minute. Everyone's so supportive of each other. So I'm just loving it at the minute. So if anyone wants to subscribe that isn't already, but I'm sure you have if you're here. But yeah, I'm loving it. So thank you very much for that, Musty. I've really happy with that. And it seems like the only way is up. 200 next, right? So we'll just go back and answer a bit more, some generic question and answers, just to sort of finish this off. So if you have any sort of generic sort of film, TV questions, drop them in the chat now and I will go through those. I'm just going to run back and see what people were asking me earlier. I need some glasses, don't I? Need my glasses on. I'm so lost. I know Starred Cinema, what did you ask me? What did I think of One Tree Hill? Right. So I'm on season 3 of One Tree Hill. I think I'm on episode 6 at the minute. I loved season 1 and 2. I thought it was really... It's so noughties. Like, they are using their flip phones. They've just got webcams. it just takes me back, and I love it. Even though I was very young at that time, but I'm loving it. The drama's real, the romance is there. I've laughed, I've cried. I cried so many times during season 2. So season 3 I'm really interested in, because loads of people have said to me that season 3 is really good, and there's like certain moments they're like, you're gonna like that moment. I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. Just another, what is it, 6 seasons to go, and then I've finished it. But I know I think they get shorter, don't they, as it goes on. So, but no, yeah, it's 10 out of 10 for me at the minute. I'm loving it. And Fall Out Boy were in an episode yesterday, so it was a great episode. We'll go back to Ludovici Street's question, which was, which video game would you most likely to see? Would I like to see made into a movie? Do they ever really work? Of my experience of watching game films, they aren't great. And I know they're making the Uncharted film, or they've finished it, but I'm very sceptical, as it's a game franchise that I really love, and I think their movies are within themselves. I don't think it needs a film. I've not seen many. I've seen Lara Croft. What else is a game movie? I mean, I saw like the Pokemon movie, like animation films. But I haven't seen many. But I can't think of a game that I'd want to see made into a film. I like the games as they are. I think games can do something that films never can. They're just so much more submersive. You know, you're like, from the controller shaking to like when you fall off something, you feel a lot more involved within the characters. Like, you feel really sort of emotionally attached to them. So I personally think that games shouldn't be made into films. I think if a game's done well, I think they should just be left as they are. Don't make them into films. But I know a lot of people really like some adaptations people really like, such as the Detective Pikachu film. I know people really liked that one, and it was a different take on it. So I think if you're doing something that's not a direct, like mirror for mirror, beat for beat kind of thing, it could work, which I think Detective Pikachu did. I've not seen it, but from what I've heard, I know a lot of people love that. So, but otherwise, I wouldn't touch game films with a barge pole, to be honest. So my answer is nothing. I don't think they should be made. Stop them. Got some more people coming in. Hi, Brian Talks Films. How are you? You doing well? And Carlinia, how are you? Thank you for stopping by on this live. No problem. Yes, it'll all be saved on my channel, so you can catch whatever you've missed. But yeah, so we just ran through some film book like references that I have, and then we're just doing a bit of a Q&A now. So pop your questions in the chat, and I will answer those. Speaking of 1001 book, what 5 movies would you pick that people must see before they die? Oh my gosh, movie worm. That's a big question. That is a big question. God. In terms of tone, I think I don't want them to all be dramatic. So like, you'd have to have some light-hearted questions, films within that. Or buy films by Sully. Thank you for stopping by anyway. Thank you very much for getting involved and questions and stuff. And I'll DM you my Twitch, so you can follow me on there. What 5 movies would you pick that people must see before they die? Gosh. I don't know, because it depends how old the person is. Can you show an 8-year-old Goodfellas or Fight Club? I don't think you can. That's a really tough question. Top 5 films. If we're saying the person is about over 18, let's say they're over 18, so they could watch any sort of film, I would say Inception would be up there, definitely. just for the spectacle of it all, I think Inception should be up there. In terms of sci-fi and action, I would say Inception. I'd probably say again, I'm just thinking of spectacles, really. So I'd probably say like Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park, the first Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. I say Fight Club. Fight Club's always a good film for me. And then the fifth one, I'm going to say Mean Girls. That's just a random one to throw in there, but I just think it breaks up the tone and I just love it. There's so many good messages in that film. The writing's brilliant as well. So hopefully that answers, if that's okay, Movie Worm. Hopefully that answers your question. Yes, I've seen somewhere books on the Great Budapest Hotel. Gonna check it out. Oh, let me know, Tops in a Moments. Let me know if you find one. And if they're available in the UK as well, because I'm not sure where you're from. Who am I excited to meet at Comic-Con? Are you just dobbing me in, Biscuits and Blu-rays? You know who my answers are. So Biscuit and Blu-rays knows that I'm going to Wales Comic Con in November of this year. Fingers crossed it still goes ahead with everything going on. So at the minute I've just booked to see the Buffy cast that are there. So I've booked for both days. I've booked for James Masters, Charisma Carpenter, Juliet and Mercedes. So I've got 4 people so far. 4 people. So I'm excited to see all of them. But it's going to be James that I'm most excited to see. That's my honest answer, okay? Can't believe you did me dirty there. Biscuits and Blu-rays. Have I seen the Sonic live action? No, I haven't. I've heard that game film was actually pretty good. I think I heard that Jim Carrey was sort of a really sort of great character within that film and sort of helped to sort of saved it. Oh, I call my mum. If you can hear people next door, I'm very, very sorry, but they're very loud people. Yes. Where was I? No, I haven't seen the Sonic movie, but I would watch it. Like, I like Jim Carrey as well, so yeah. My mum is in the chat. Is that what you're saying, one go? Why have I called my mum? How about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Yeah, that's a good film, but I haven't seen it for years. I do want to read the book as well and sort of see how that compares to the film. But I haven't seen it for years, so I can't. It's not jumping to my forefront with that question being asked. Thoughts on game night? Yes, I saw this film last month, and I thought I heard it been mentioned a couple of times, and I saw it on Netflix. And I'm very iffy on new comedy films. I'm not sold on them. I'm not a big fan of them. I love sort of comedy TV, but I don't think it works in a film setting. So I was sort of going into this a little bit dubious, but had a good cast, and I really liked it. I thought it was brilliant. There was so many twists and turns. I loved the sense of humour within the film. I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I loved Game Night. I would watch that again, in a heartbeat. I loved it. It's definitely one of my favourite modern classic comedy films within the last at least 5 years. I would say it's that good. It's really, really good. Yeah, so check out Game Night if you haven't already. It's on Netflix. They're both great. You need to go to Comic Con. Are you dressing up at Comic Con? No, I'm not going to dress up at Comic Con. I've been to a couple, but I've never dressed up in terms of like cosplay or anything like that. I don't think I'd have the confidence to do that personally. I'm just happy to go in my usual attire to those sorts of things. So no, I'm not going to dress up, but definitely go to a Comic Con if you can, Colinio. I think you'd really enjoy it. Have I got one girl? I live with my mum. My mum is downstairs. My mum is chatting. My mum is in the chat. It is Mother's Day, yes, in the UK, and at least. What's your favourite film that was based on a book? Good question. Favourite film that's based on a book? Well, I did do a post recently on Instagram talking about some of my favourite books. I think it was for Worldwide Book Day, International Book Day. And within that we had Starter for 10, Call Me By Your Name, Never Let Me Go, and was it American Psycho? I think so, but those were all books that I liked. Preferred the book to the films, to their adaptations. But I guess in instances where I think the film's better than the book, I'm just having a look at my wall of books to see for inspiration. Nothing that I own. I can't think of an instance where I preferred the film to the book. I don't know. Do you guys have any? Let me know if you can think of any, because I've just drawn a blank. Why do I prefer the film to the book? Not sure. But yeah, those 4 films that I listed. Obviously, you could say like Harry Potter's, but they don't go into as much detail as the books do. Obviously, Lord of the Rings. Actually, I think I preferred the films to the books. Of the Lord of the Rings, but I preferred the book of The Hobbit to the Hobbit films, if that makes sense. Just because it's a lot more condensed. Whereas they just split the first book into 3 films, which is madness. Yeah. Game night is the bomb. Yeah, it is. It is. Hello from India. Hello, Technics Cafe. Yes. You should cosplay as Rogue. I mean, I couldn't I? If I kept this up for however many months, got it a bit more silver. I mean, I've got kind of like an X. Well, it's not really an X, but you know, from a glimpse, it could be an X on my jumper. I could go for that. Yeah, don't worry, Rongo. All good. Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter's a good one. Little Women was good, but I've not read the book, so in terms of comparison I can't really say if one was better than the other, but I really enjoyed the latest adaptation of Little Women. I thought that was a really good version, and was really engaging. You think Fight Club is a better film than its book? Don't know if that's blasphemous. I've not read the book. Why is the person next door screaming at their child? I've not read the book. I know a lot of people have read the book. But I don't think, is it tough to read? Would you say it's quite tough to read? It's the same with Trainspotting as well. I picked up the book because I loved the film. But I just opened page 1. I was like, I can't read this. This is really hard for me to try and understand. You'd have to read it with like a Scottish accent in your head. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. So I've got it somewhere, but I have not read it. It just seems quite tough for me. Yeah. Brian says he didn't like the Sonic movies, but Jim Carrey stole. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard Jim Carrey is the sort of the standout thing about that film. So I would definitely check it out just for him, because I do like him and his work. So I would give it a go. Hunger Games, yeah, I think I read at least the first 2 books, and watched the first 2 films, but didn't watch Mockingjay Part 1 or Part 2. I don't know why. I just didn't. I didn't get round to it, or I missed it at the cinema. Yeah, so I will finish that series eventually, through reading and through watching. I think I follow you. I liked Fight Club more as a movie than as a book. Yeah, that's what I would assume. I would assume that's yes. Have you watched WandaVision? Have I watched WandaVision? Yes, I have watched WandaVision. Yeah, no, I thought it was a good series. I thought it was a good series considering it was the first sort of public Disney Plus on demand sort of thing. I think it was good. I think it was a little predictable in areas. You know, there was certain things like, I won't spoil anything here, but I just thought it was predictable in terms of, you know, the villain, and like, I knew that, you know, there was something there with Wanda, really. You know, she can't be this necessarily evil sort of character and things like that. But yeah, I liked it. I think it dipped a little maybe in those sort of last couple of episodes. Maybe like, how many episodes was there? 9, I think. Like 6 and 7, I think it dipped a little bit. But I loved the last episode. Lots of action. Yeah, I think I enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to jump and watch it again right now. I'm happy to move on to Falcon and Winter Soldier next week. I'm happy to, you know, watch that one. I have to give that a go. I love the Captain America kind of side of the Avengers. So I'm intrigued to see what they do with that one. Just something a bit different again. I know it's going to be a lot more action-packed, less, you know, witchcraft and mystery and things like this. So it's going to be different, but I liked it. What did you think of it? Technics Cafe, what did you think of it? You're off for a glass of wine. Happy Mother's Day. That's my mother. She's going. Irvine Welsh is a really, really inaccessible author. The films of his work, except Acid House, are way easy to get into. Okay, well, coming from you, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Because I've seen Filth as well, with James McAvoy, and I thought that was really good as well. But I just wouldn't personally tackle the books. I haven't got it on the shelf now. Maybe I gave it away. But yeah, it just I don't think my brain can put an accent on as I'm reading it. I think that would be really tough for me personally. So I've avoided it. Even though I enjoy like the films and the adaptations, I just don't think I could get into the books, which is a shame, really. Do you know Verdas? No. Is this a joke? Verdas. An actor? Comedian? No, I don't know who that is. Sorry, I've never heard of him. You recently watched Utopia, the UK version. I loved it so much. Have you seen it? No, I never watched Utopia. I know it was on Channel 4 originally, I think, years ago now. And I think, did they bring it onto Amazon? They may have done an American sort of version of it. But I know the people that have seen Utopia really enjoyed it. But no, I've never seen it. But I'll probably work round to it at some point. But it's just not on my radar. But yeah, if anyone has any sort of final sort of questions, let me know now. Otherwise, I'll be signing off in a couple minutes. So if anyone has any more questions, drop them in the chat. How have you enjoyed this stream? I think personally it's gone a lot better than the first one. Obviously, we're in 1080p rather than 720 with the black borders on the side. Let me know some feedback as well. And if anyone finds any cinematography, sort of coffee table books, feel free to message me on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. Let me know if you find some, because I'll be very, very intrigued to see if I can find some. So if you don't know as well, there is a new YouTube video going up at 6 p.m. as always, and this evening it's about the film Upgrade, which I watched earlier in this week, and there may or may not be a little guest appearance from someone within this chat, just giving their opinion on the film. Yeah, so that comes out at 6 o'clock, so make sure you check that out when that goes live. I would recommend that you have seen the film prior to watching that review, because I will talk about some spoilers. But yeah, it's a good video, so check that one out. And then tomorrow evening I'm filming with someone that I follow on Instagram. Maybe some of you follow them as well. And we're going to do one of those sort of discussion videos that I've done. Was it last month? It must have been last month, or end of January, with Paul Kaczynski. So I'm doing that same sort of format. So I'm going to film that tomorrow, and that's going to go out live next weekend. So lots of exciting content to come on this channel, on this month especially. And obviously I want to say thank you again to everyone that subscribes. You know, I've hit 115 subscribers, which is insane. It's mad that 115 people want to hear me talk about films and some TV shows. So the support has been amazing. The community is great, be it on YouTube, Instagram, both. People are here from both things, they know, from Instagram or YouTube. So yeah, I'm just loving the positive vibes of the community at the minute. So I'm really enjoying it. So if you haven't subscribed already and you want to see more ramblings like this once a month, I'll be doing these once a month. Then we have weekly reviews every Sunday. So if you want to hear me talk about a specific film, or we have a discussion, or I'd give like you my top 10 something, you know, these sort of things. So you get a real variety on Popcorn Chats. Or you get me eating popcorn, trying really weird popcorn flavours and nearly being sick on camera. If that's what you want to see, then share this channel, subscribe, everything, like it. Hopefully you guys like it. Hey Dreadnought, you've just come in right at the end. Right at the end. We're about to wrap up. I've just asked for any sort of final questions. Any generic film questions, TV questions, hit me with it. Ask me one question before we finish. I dare you. Go on. We were just talking as well about how inaccessible Irvine Welsh's books are compared to his film adaptations. Do you have any opinions on that? Like on Fight Club, Filth? Have you read the books? Have you just seen the films? Have you got any comments on that? I'd be intrigued to hear what sort of, you know, fellow Scottish people have. Classic me. It's alright. That's you. That's who you are. Is anyone going to watch any films tonight as well? Any sort of Sunday films planned? Anything new lined up, or are people watching some sort of older content? There's some quite good few films on Netflix at the minute. So I'll just quickly run through, I think, that people missed at the beginning. So far this month, I watched 2 Disney shorts, which are on their YouTube channel, so they're all free. And they are Wind and Float. So they're kind of like very sort of feel-good short films from Pixar, I think it is. There is a child screaming next door. Don't know why. Cruel Intentions. I gave that a go. That was on my list for a while. Rocks, which is on Netflix. Again, it's been saved for a while, but I actually got around to watching it. Upgrade, which is what tonight's video is going to be about. And then I watched Moxie yesterday. So real sort of mix of films, and they're all available to watch. YouTube, Amazon, Netflix. They're all on demand. So if you want to check them out, definitely check them out. They're all within the subscriptions. So yeah. Have you watched the Room 2019 movie? No, I haven't. I haven't watched the Room 2019 movie. Is that like The Disaster Artist? No, I've not seen this before. No, I've not even heard of it, to be honest. I will check that out. Technics Cafe. Interesting. What I love is that the people next door have come into that room as soon as I do my live stream. It's a fucking joke. Go on, Dreadnought, hit me with a question. One more question before we go. One more question, then we'll wrap up this live stream. Do I know Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson? Nope. To be honest, Technics Cafe, I don't know any of these people or films that you've mentioned. So That seems to be the common theme. I don't know who these people are. I'm not sure who that is. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. But thank you everyone for stopping by. We will do this again. I always do it the second week of the month, so we'll be back in April. Otherwise, you can check me out on my social medias, which will be linked below in the bio. I'm very sort of frequently posting on Instagram. That's probably the best place to catch me. I've got Twitter and Letterboxd as well below, so make sure to follow me on there. And yeah, and otherwise I'll be posting once a week on YouTube, so don't forget there's a video tonight at 6 o'clock, so stay tuned for that one. But thank you everyone for stopping by, asking all these lovely questions, interacting with this. If you missed anything, don't forget you can watch this back. This will stay on the channel and you can refer back to it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed yourself, and I will see you, well, I'll see you at 6 PM tonight, but that was past Sarah before the blonde. But otherwise I'll see you live next month. Thank you guys for stopping by.